And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, it's Sunday. It is heating up once again out here in the oven. I hope you're staying cool. How you doing today?
I am. I'm trying to. We back, man. It's heating up in the valley. It's heating up here on GI. This is the last episode for us of June 2025. Yes. I hope it treated you well, Brad. Well, June's always a busy month. Yeah. We got Pride Month off top, right? Salute, shout out, Juneteenth. So many birthdays this month with coworkers, with friends, with people I haven't seen since high school. June is just sneakily a very, very busy time. But I'm staying cool. I'm doing well. Blessed. Happy to see you. What's up? How you been?
I've been good. I've been warm. June is also the teacher life, man. Like you know this. As soon as summer hits, once you become a homeowner, this wasn't as bad when I was renting. Once you become a homeowner, it's like, now I have time to do all of the stuff I've been putting to organize, to clean, to deep, not, clean the way that we clean throughout the year, but like actually get in there and get after it. Not like I'll vacuum. Do I move the furniture out of the way and get the carpet under the chair? Now vacuum around the chair. I'm talking moving things around. But for me specifically, it's the garage and it's yard work, because Christmas time does a number on our garage, pulling bins out and trying to uncover stuff. And then it's, just change jobs, and it's stuff coming from an office and staying in the garage until we figure out a place to put it. Never a place to put it.
Never.
Oh, I have this box. I should save this box in case I need this box.
Of course. Yeah.
We got two coffee machines in there, one broken and the other one also broken. And we're trying to pick which broken coffee box to keep in case we got to ship it out for repairs, which I'm trying desperately not to do. But I got two of them out there. We have the Cricut box, and, I just save all these mechanical things, these electronics things. I have on the floor down there, I have two routers. By the way, if you're looking for a faster router modem, if you're looking for a faster modem, because you have a separate modem and router combo from your cable company, you let me know, because I have a decent one here. If you're not on the gig tier, this will be great. Goes up to 1 gig. I'm past that now. I'm beyond that now. This week I spent a lot of money, a lot of money on new Wi-Fi routers and a new modem. Not quite $500, but pretty close. My AP money gone.
Approaching 500 bones.
But I was getting in the living room. We were trying to stream, and everything just keeps petering out. And I was getting pissed. And then our routers were actually dropping out. Signal just gone. And they're old. They're pretty old. They work, but they're old. And I was looking, I was like, I'm getting 8 megs a second in the living room, and I'm paying for like 1.3 gig internet speeds. Why am I getting 8 megs on my phone out here? This is stupid. I can't load Instagram on some days because it just keeps dropping out. This is first world problems. So I bought this.
Totally right.
Out in the living room now, I get about 400 megs a second on my phone with the new setup. It's incredible. Everything has been like connecting like crazy and running fine. So I've been running around doing a lot of projects, electronics projects, coding projects, graphic design, tree stump removal projects. And I'm making a trampoline enclosure, and it's been very busy, all while it's 113 degrees outside. I don't believe there's water in my body.
It's not hyperbole for our out-of-state audience, Brad.
No.
As this episode drops,
feels like 1,000.
Every single Monday, by the way.
Feels like heat.
We drop here on YouTube. Not YouTube page of the 19 Media Group, the Mighty 19. Shout out to our audio listeners, Apple, Spotify. Drop on Monday. Wherever you're joining us from. But it's not hyperbole, Brad. We're dropping this on Monday, where the expected high, at least in the Valley, here in the Phoenix area, is 117 degrees. We're built for this. We're ready.
I'm looking right now. Right now, currently, it's 107 predicted today, I believe, in Marana, Arizona. Mm-hmm. It is 103 right now, and clear skies, which is great. I love it when it says clear skies. It like gives you hope that things are good. I don't want clear skies.
Right, we got to latch on to a little bit of
This is the time of the year where I'm waiting for the monsoons to start, where I'm like, give me a cloud. Just have a cloud float by so I can get 2 hours of work.
Last summer, we didn't get much of a monsoon at
No.
all. You know, I spent a summer in Memphis years ago, and the humidity, it's real.
It's booty.
It's no joke. I'm going to lean into that classic saying of, well, at least we have a dry heat. I've lived in Arizona nearly my entire life. You never really get used to the summers. You just learn how to cope, how to deal with it, how to find reliable AC if you can. And like you said, hydrate. You learn that survivor's guide, because we know out here it's just, you got to be built different to make it through. And of course, want to think about our most vulnerable populations, by the way. Not to return the vibe, but easy for us to say, you know, luckily we're in relatively good health. We have access to these things. You know, we just really hope that the city and whatever we can do to protect people who, you know, maybe don't have access to all that you need to make it through some of these brutal summers, man. But yeah, like you said, from a home ownership perspective, I can only imagine, okay, June is my month to just rock out this to-do list. But I believe, as you shared on our last episode, if it's going to be outdoors, I have this window about 6 a.m. till 10 a.m., maybe 10:30 if I'm feeling ambitious. But after that, I probably got to wait till the next day just due to that heat. It's no joke.
No, it's brutal. It's brutal out here. And honestly, it's awesome. It's also really wonderful. There's funny, it creates this funny inside joke that we all have where is it, or a debate, is it better to wear long sleeves in the summer or to wear short sleeves in the summer when you're out here? So I have a really loose long sleeve t-shirt now with a hood. That's my backyard work fit now, because I don't have to wear sunscreen. I know there's some research about sunscreen not being the best thing for you in the first place. And so, you know, the UV 50 super thin shirt is great because it does two things. Number one, it keeps the sun off my body. Number two, the most important part, I can pull the sleeves up over my hands and drive just fine. Cause there is you got to do the quick taps. Everybody does a quick tap on the door handle. And if you forget, you know, right away, you made a mistake. You do it on the steering wheel. If you wear shorts, dangerous game. If you got leather seats, dangerous game. And we have that fake leather stuff. I mean, the sizzle's real. We have like a aluminum foil baked potato looking wrap for Freya's booster that I'm not going to point fingers or anything here. I always remember to put it on. But when Freya gets into that booster, she gets like nuked by it, because it's like everything is on fire in the back, and she's in there wearing like a little dress. Yeah. And her legs are like all the way hanging out onto the plastic and the metal, and it's not a good time. Considering oven mitts to drive is crazy, but it's also crazy. Hilarious. Yeah. And it's the only place in the world, I'll continue to say this, it's the only place in the world that I can think of where we look forward to the rain. Like I'm excited. Tyler, I'm so excited for the rain. I'm also excited to find out what you have up in store, because I saw this during the production meeting. I saw this on the pod flow. And I'm titillated. I'm also terrified. I'm also very excited that I get to play this music with the production team, of course. Let's get into it. It's time for Hot Take Tie White Guys edition.
It's time for Hot Take Tie. Spicy.
All right, Brad, let's talk about it. Like you said, on our pod outline doc that we update every weekend in preparation for our recordings, I simply put Hot Take Tie White Guys. I give you no additional context so that we could have this moment right now. Here's my hot take for you, Brad, and for our audience. This is the greatest year white guys have had all decade, bar none. I have evidence for you. Uh-oh. Cooper Flagg was just drafted number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. TJ McConnell, sticking with basketball, of the Indiana Pacers, former Arizona Wildcat, shout out, showed out in the NBA Finals. We've known about TJ McConnell for a decade, but now Sports Center, and it seems like the wider NBA audience knows about him. Comedian and star of Netflix's Tires, a show I actually quite enjoy. Shane Gillis, comedian. He's hosting the ESPYs this summer. Miles Bourne of NXT fame. I don't know if you saw this, Brad. He confirmed on social media that he's dating Stephanie Vaquer.
Yes.
He said, "Shout out my Chilean queen." Okay, and then finally,
how are you feeling about that?
I don't know how to feel about it until we have to talk about it. I don't know. I'm still processing. And then finally, of course, Donald Trump was reelected. Brad, this just seems like just an important time for white dudes. I don't know if I want to call it a renaissance of sorts, but it's definitely
Reformation. It feels like
it's definitely the greatest year of the decade. To all of this, you say what?
I knew you were going to say presidents' names. I don't know. Does it balance out with all the Joe Biden stuff that happened? There's when I saw this and I asked you, are we going to be talking basketball? I had a feeling that that's where this was going to go. Not since Jason Kidd have I thought we've been up so highly on white dudes in basketball, but because for every one of those guys you mentioned, I think of a Tyler Hero or somebody else. So there is that. I don't know what to say as a representative of the white delegation. I can't say that this has been my favorite year.
I ran some of these ideas by my pops, by the way. He validated, yeah, this is a string of dudes who are doing really well.
John Moxley.
Mox is champ.
Mm-hmm. I guess the Johns.
Yeah.
Cena.
Have you heard of this John Cena? Thank you. Have you heard of this Benson Boone singer? Apparently, I think he was on American Idol, but didn't win. He may have left the show. And he just dropped an album this month, and he's kind of like that next heartthrob that is making moves in the music industry. This is man, I'm telling you, I think we got something here.
Most of the cast of Superman.
I'm glad we spoke about this, Brad. Thank you for thank you for this is
by the way, I got advanced tickets. I'm absolutely going before opening night.
There you go. And I hope you enjoy it. Speaking of GI segments, I can't wait for your GI at the movies for Superman. I know you've been looking forward to it.
I told Freya and she was like, yeah, I want to go. The big screen. Yeah, I want to go. So we're all going. I'm super stoked because I wasn't sure she was going to want to go. And I know we'll be there for Fantastic Four because she's super pumped for that. I feel bad because we still haven't seen Lilo and Stitch. And I still haven't seen Mission Impossible. I own Sinners and it's coming to streaming and I still haven't seen it. It's one of those things, Tyler, where this could be something totally separate here, but maybe we do a segment like instead of someday when you have kids, someday when you have a wife, we'll call it, you'll find out real quick that you can't just watch things. You gotta wait. you gotta do it together.
Maybe the single life isn't too bad for.
No,
for
it's
now,
like you just maybe. Like you just went to a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know how jealous I am of that? Like I've been able to do that since before kids. Like now it's just like, oh, we got to make plans before we just get a babysitter.
But then I'm going to hear about the great time the three of you have at Fantastic Four. And then it's going to give me hope that, oh man, that life is worth it.
Oh, it's totally worth it.
I can't wait to watch, you know that. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch that, Superman. And I know we have another very important watch around here. If you guys have been paying attention to GI over the last several months, that you know that there's another watch happening. No, it's not Apple. It's
Steph Watch.
That's right. You heard it. Brad, this is a quick Steph Watch. And when I say it, I actually mean it this time. Stephanie Vaquer was largely absent from our screens this week. However, she did put on Instagram that she was receiving some treatment. It looked like for her knee. She posted a video on IG of this. It was interesting. It was like a close-up of a syringe going into her knee. You could hear a medical professional, a doctor speaking. And she actually put very positive news on Instagram. She was saying, oh, man, it feels good to receive great care. And I think she even may have went to Chile. I recall seeing that she said, oh, you know,
that's cool.
It's good to feel when you're back home and you feel like people are looking out for you. So apparently she's in great spirits. Apparently it's nothing serious, just some treatment, because you remember for us, for Steph Watch purposes, her Money in the Bank weekend was awesome. she's
Yes.
wrestling multiple times in 2 or 3 days. Like, oh man, she's really resonating the way we hope she would. But then on the back end, you remember these are real people. This isn't WWE 2K. These are real
Right.
people, and there's always that risk of injury in wrestling. Now, fortunately for La Primera, she has not had a serious injury over the stint of her decade plus long career. So obviously, we are hoping that continues. And I would imagine, I don't think anything's been confirmed as of this recording, Brad. I would imagine she's going to be back on our screens for Monday Night Raw. So very excited to see what's to come. I forget if that 4-way with Asuka, I forget if that was last week on Raw or the week before, but it
Can't
seems
remember
like
either.
I think it was 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
But
it might have been. Yeah.
it might have been, but it feels like we haven't seen Steph in a.
No,
In
I
a
think it
minute.
was
So
last week.
was it? It feels
I
like
think
it's
it
been
was.
so long.
But she was on
Yeah, because they
SmackDown as
teased
well, though,
Asuka's
right?
return. I don't remember that she was. Did she pop up on SmackDown?
I thought she did. I thought she got involved with Jade.
You see, this Miles Bourne news has just
I can't
thrown
remember.
off my entire planning for Steph Watch. Point is, she received some treatment. I think she's going to be not only back on on Raw this week, but she has to figure prominently. And this is going to lead into my WWE question, actually, Brad. This is what we call a transition in the business. She has to figure prominently into the Evolution 2 plans now that we have passed Night of Champions, which I did not watch, no surprise. We can go full steam ahead for Saturday night's main event, Goldberg, Flower City, but then also what I'm really looking forward to, which is Evolution 2. So I'm excited to see what's going to be that Steph match. I foresee maybe it's a multi-women's match of some sort. I would not be opposed to her being in a program with someone and having a really prominent one-on-one bout for Evolution 2. But regardless, we're wishing Steph well. It seems like everything's okay with the knee and with her health, and really excited to see for all that's to come for La Primera this summer. Should be big.
I'm glad she saw a medical professional and didn't go the Chad Ochocinco heal the joint route. Do you know this?
I don't think so.
I learned this recently, Tyler. So real or not, I don't know. In 2016, he had talked about this God's honest truth could be fooled by the internet. He liked to heard from his grandmother to soak his ankle in urine. Tyler, let's get into WWE. I know you're ready with your question. Just wanted to throw some pee out there for you.
I had never heard of that. That
La
is
Primera.
wild.
Yeah.
WWE question time.
I don't feel good about it. But
I don't feel good about that at all. Production team, scrub that, please. WWE time. So again, as our audience knows, Brad, I bypassed Night of Champions, but now that it's in our rear view, of course, I just teased this. I want to ask you more about Evolution 2, the company's second ever all-women show happening in Hotlanta on Sunday, July 13th. Now, WWE effectively has 2 weeks to build that show. Jordan Grace versus JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship is the sole match confirmed for Evolution 2 as of this recording. Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey was the main event of the inaugural Evolution. My question for you, which talents would you like to see have that spot this time around?
Run it back. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I couldn't even get through without laughing.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay. For a second, you got me, and I thought, no, this man. I know this guy the way I think I do. One of my best friends. He. Please continue.
No, it's probably going to be Nikki and Becky, right?
You don't think it's Nikki and Brie versus? I think Nikki and Brie versus Raquel and Roxanne to fill in for Liv Morgan would. I think that's.
Do you think Brie wrestles?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
for sure. I don't know if they're going to beat Raquel and Roxanne, but I definitely think Brie's in Brie Bella, that is.
Okay, so the Bellas versus Judgment Day. That feels like, I don't know if they'll main event. They should. But I think the Bellas could main event in a tag to kind of honor the past. But not against those two. No disrespect, but there's no like, I don't know. That's not enough fanfare there for my liking. Maybe those two teams open. That would make a lot of sense. Give them that really good spot. But I just feel like there's going to be a main title on the line in that main event. It's just the way those things go, right? So where do you put the titles? Which titles are going to be on there? And do you have one of the titles at the beginning, one of the titles at the end? Where do you put? It's just like I wouldn't want to book this.
Could we get an EO versus Tiffany situation? Raw champ versus SmackDown champ? Survivor Series style?
I suppose. Evolution's the next pape, right?
Yeah. It's our next main event that Saturday to compete with All In Texas, and then Sunday, the PLE.
Yeah. I don't need to see Oldberg.
I did enjoy the Gunther promo, by the way. Put in some extra oomph into this feud. I did enjoy that.
I just don't care. Like,
yeah. Goldberg meant a lot to me during my childhood too.
Me too, but like, if Goldberg wins, then what do you do?
Okay, so that's the part, Brad. You and I are not ruling out that Goldberg could win this match. I don't think he's going to.
I don't think so either.
But we've definitely seen more surprising things happen in WWE.
Now, that being said, I do believe he said that he would love his retirement match to be Gunther, right? So this is...
Yes, apparently he really likes him.
Yeah, so this is likely it for him, which...
Definitely.
That makes me want to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will not. I'll be watching the other pay-per-view, but like that's...
We will.
Yeah.
But he's a legend of the industry. Absolutely. He's
I don't think...
seminal to our memories of wrestling.
Yeah,
really
I don't think either Goldberg or Gunther are going to main event the women's pay-per-view. So I think I'm going to say,
thank you.
Just trying to figure out.
Steer us back. Let's talk about Steph. Let's talk about
the main event of SummerSlam is Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Now, so do you think it's more likely that it's Tiffany Jade or Tiffany someone else?
Yeah.
At Evolution, or do they just? So I'm thinking like maybe they just hold off that from the Evolution card and then put them in a tag match with something else, or do a fatal 4-way or something to change it up so that the champion can be involved without having to put her title on the line to save it for SummerSlam to make that moment feel bigger. I could see them doing that and to get as many women on the card as possible because you want it to be like that, and then mix up the matches a little bit. Hopefully Rhea never wrestling any Judgment Day member ever again. That needs to be done.
For sure.
But like, what's Rhea doing during that night?
Yeah. And maybe this is
or Chelsea Green, who's she wrestling for, like
exactly. I suspect, shout out to Julia, by the way. I saw a new US women's champ. Big look for you. I suspect that because there's such little time left to build Evolution too, it's unfortunate because I saw some calls on the internet kind of calling back to Evolution 1 and how the build to that show was lackluster. And here we are now. Granted, WWE very different now than it was back then. They have so many shows going on. But I suspect because you don't have the time to build a lot of long stories heading into Evolution 2, we're going to get a lot of what we often deem as dream matchups for this. Maybe to your question, Brad, this is the time to run a Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer, right? We saw some interactions during the Money in the Bank ladder match. Again, 2 weeks, not a lot of time, but what are both of those talents going to do? If Raquel and Roxanne are going to take on the Bellas, if my prediction comes true, what is the Rhea match? Rhea has to be on this card. Stephanie Vaquer has to be on this card. Why not say, whether it's main event, whether it's the fourth match, why not say, you know what, Evolution 2, we want to pull out all the stops for this card. Let's throw on Stephanie versus Rhea, and I know the two of us will be seated.
I'm looking right now, looking at the matches.
I don't know who loses that match, but maybe there's interference,
I think it was Nikki and Liv were supposed to wrestle, but then Liv got injured, so that match got scrapped. So I'm not sure where that goes after that. The NXT Women's Championship Evolution Eliminator happened. Let's see. So singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. The only one on there is JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. It's the only match announced so far.
Right.
So that's one. I think Bailey and Trish is going to happen.
Really?
Yeah. I could see that one happening. Because I know Trish is probably coming back for the PLE. So,
how many matches do you think go on this card?
I don't know. There has to be more than 6.
I hope so.
They better give us like, well, 6 to 8, unless they're really going to stack it with like a Rumble, like a
I think
lumberjack match or something to get everybody out there.
Lumberjill.
Yep.
They're definitely not going over 8 to compensate.
No.
Definitely maybe a number 1 contender.
But maybe they do some 0-hour stuff. Maybe they do, do the main show and then do a pre-show thing. I worry about them Andreing it for the SmackDown before.
Can we get Steph versus Io main event for the Raw Women's title?
Yes,
please. Can we do that? Can we run that match back?
Yes, please. Well, I feel like one of those things is going to end up being a triple threat fatal 4-way. Get as many women involved in that title picture as possible. Maybe you do a couple of those and change it up. Maybe you do all the belts, singles, a triple threat, a fatal 4-way.
Naomi has the Money in the Bank. I know a lot of people a lot of fans are suspecting she'll cash in at SummerSlam. In. Let's say Jade beats Tiffany at SummerSlam. Naomi then cashes in on Jade. That makes all the sense. I wonder if
100%
a potential Naomi cash in could happen at Evolution 2.
And then you get Naomi versus Jade at SummerSlam instead of Tiffany versus Jade.
Interesting.
And then that match has a better build going into it.
I could see it.
But Tiffany versus Jade, that's a lot of power. That would be fun.
That should be very fun.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The answer is I have no idea. How about you? Let's just go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. I suspect Rhea versus Steph as a let's just give you this dream matchup.
Yeah.
Is more likely. Yes, please. I would really love
Steph versus Bianca would be so good.
Run Steph versus Io back for the title.
Steph versus anybody. Really?
But I think the issue is
so good.
You're building Steph. Can she afford a clean loss this soon into her main roster debut? Because if she's going against Rhea, if she's going against Io, I don't think Steph is winning that. So to your point, Brad, maybe having her in another multi-women's match or in a battle royal, where if she doesn't win, at least she's not getting pinned or submitted. That's the calculus that I'm trying to do. But my answer to you is going to be Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky for the Raw Women's Championship.
Who's got beef with Stephanie right now?
Nobody. We all love her.
Who could they throw in there? The only person that I can think is like maybe somebody gets involved. Maybe Roxanne gets involved. Like they have history. Like you could have Roxanne run in, get involved with the match, cost Stephanie a match. Then it's not a clean victory. But like, where's Roxanne? Is it just going to be tag stuff?
Roxanne's so good.
So yeah, there's so many different places. I just here's what I know. I'm excited. That's it.
Me too. We've been wanting this.
We've been begging for this for years.
For so long. And here we are. And we just want what's left of the build the next 2 weeks to be becoming, if you will, of this incredibly loaded roster. I can't wait. It should be a great show. That weekend is going to be ridiculous.
Tyler, okay. Here's my question. Ready? So Seth attempted his Money in the Bank cash in. Poor Charles Robinson ate it from John Cena.
I did see that. That was great.
It ultimately cost CM Punk. Seth Rollins once again. Is Cena right? And he'll ultimately make good on his promise by keeping the title until he retires. Is this not a prediction? It's a spoiler situation.
Exactly. I don't think so. No. Cody winning. So as we established, Jade won Queen of the Ring. She defeated Asuka at Night of Champions. And then Cody defeated Randy Orton to win the men's tournament, if you will. Cody has to be the guy to beat John Cena. And it's going to happen at SummerSlam. No, I think John Cena is dropping in August. I do not think he leaves Jersey still champ. I think that's going to be it.
I don't know.
Wow. You think he could carry it all the way till the winner?
I don't think he should, but I could see it happening. Think about the Roman build where Roman just kept winning, beat Cody in Mania for a year of just sour grapes of like, wow, what a dumb move that was, to getting the moment at WrestleMania where it was just a cameo grenade, left and right, people coming out. Which I didn't hate. I actually loved those moments quite a bit. And it made it very awesome for that moment when he won. I still think he should have won the first year. I don't care how great that moment was. Like they ultimately pivoted away from what they were going to do. So to think that they might know exactly what to do, it's just silly to me. Wrestling has changed so much, and our attention spans as a society have changed enough where I can't stand it when people are like, well, the audience just needs to learn how to. No. You're catering to the wrong thing. You're catering to a what should be and not what is. And there's a big difference. The attention spans are gone. We still want good storytelling. We still want all that. Like, everybody tell a good story. We're in. I don't know what a better story is, because I think the story here is rooting for him not to hold it until the end of the year. And SummerSlam is just really early. I think it needs to happen at the last possible. Like December
is coming
is when it needs to happen. Like right before the Rumble, maybe at the Rumble, maybe he's like, I'm going to do my final match tonight and I'm walking out of here with this belt. And then maybe the Rumble main event, maybe that's his last match in reality. I don't know, but probably not, because he's doing the countdown. So, I mean, things could change. He could get hurt. Who knows? There's like a million things that could happen. So, I would love to see it get dragged out as far as humanly possible. I don't want Cody to win unless he's going full heel mode Cody. That would be fine with me. Maybe he finally gives into The Rock. That would be kind of a cool acknowledgement. Cena and Cody, and Cody's going to hit him with the belt, and The Rock comes out, and they look at each other, and he just kind of nods, and then Cody hits him with the belt and then takes it from him. And now he's on Team Rock. I should have listened to you. And like, now you got a bad guy, Cody. I think that would be a good way into it, but
we get the Jet Black here the next night.
Yes.
On Raw.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would be great.
It does seem soon though. You're right, Brad. WrestleMania. I mean, it was in April, right? That's a fact, but it does seem like the Cena reign just started. And your point of, SummerSlam is just around the corner. Is that too soon? I wonder, have we checked off the boxes we wanted from the Cena title reign yet? So we got the R-Truth match, and R-Truth is Ron Killings is definitely going to play a role in Cena's.
Ron Killings, Aleister Black, though.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
It should be very
That's a great juxtaposition.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially
so I'm super excited about that. Yeah.
This version of the artist formerly known as R-Truth.
Yeah. But he's still doing R-Truth stuff, right? But he's also like, he's what's up, and he's like, I'm gonna kill your family. Like, so it's just like, it's just all right.
Are you giving him what likelihood are you giving that Ron Killings will be the person to dethrone John Cena?
0% chance. I think to cost him, high likelihood to be involved in the losing of the title.
But to pin him, no.
To pin him, I don't think so. I don't think we're getting that. We don't need that. I think Ron Killings winning everything after the loss is the move for him the entire time he's here. He eats the pin and then gets up and whoops on him, or gets the last laugh in a feud. He doesn't have to win everything. Like, he can win on Raw, he can win on SmackDown and lose at a PLE, but also get that beatdown afterward to really establish he's like, no, like, I don't care if I lose. I want to hurt this person. Mm-hmm. Kind of like what Malachi Black was doing, right? Like, I lost, I hurt you. And that was like the whole goal is, I want to, what is it? The Thanos line, all that for a drop of blood. I would love that version of Ron Killings where he's like, I'm not here to win. I'm here to kill. Like, I'm Ron Killings and I'm here to hurt you. He wouldn't be able to say that on WWE TV.
You would have to.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm here to break fingers and snap legs, and that's it.
You and I were also in communication over the weekend about the ages of the stars on the men's division.
I didn't even list him.
So, you actually,
Attitude Era.
You actually did not. We love Ron Killings.
Yes, of course. Ron's the best, man.
But really leaning into the youth that you have on the roster, that's critical, because there's going to be a time. Speaking of the decade, there's going to be a time this decade, sooner than later, where the Roman Reigns of the world, who is going to transition to Hollywood. Shout out to him for securing that Street Fighter role. Mm-hmm. Roman Reigns. Cool. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, CM Punk, certainly the hallmarks of your men's division. In a few years, they're really going to be AJ Styles. We want them to be healthy.
It's 48.
Very likely, some have confirmed this, some were just speculating, sort of winding down their career and slowing down their dates. Who's going to be the next group of guys that are up? So I agree with you. I'm not saying, Carmelo Hayes is going to be the guy to dethrone John Cena, but I hope there is a continued investment in the youth of their division and actually starting to strap these guys up with titles, and not just, the US or the IC title, but actually I'm excited for the day when we start seeing those new names. Braun Breaker certainly we know is destined for that. Those new names who are going to ascend and carry those top titles. But I also understand when you have those people I just mentioned under your employ, how can you not put them in the world title scene? Because they're the ticket sellers. They're moving the merch. They're some of the biggest names in wrestling history.
It's really crazy. Now, the age thing, I was making notes just then to do a project with that. I'm gonna do something with that. I haven't been on the website in a while other than to post your articles, so I appreciate you doing all the heavy lifting,
which we appreciate
on that. And I'm excited to get in there again. I've just been waiting for the right thing.
Me too.
I'm like Tyler. I'm like a bird. Really, I want to fly away. Now, that being said, it's time for a segment that we have not done in a minute, right? Like it's probably a month or two since we've done one of these, at least.
Easily.
We got back in the day. Nelly Furtado. Let's get into it. Play the music.
And now it's time to get old school. Prepare yourselves for Back in the Day.
Perhaps a Nelly Furtado debut on Gimmick Infringement. I don't know that we've spoken about her at length, but now is the perfect time. Brad, thank you for introing this segment. Nelly Furtado's album Loose turned 19 this month, so we could not leave June without addressing this important anniversary. Back in the day, this was my ish, man. I loved Nelly Furtado. I love this album. Yeah, that didn't age as well. But back to it hasn't aged well. But I do really enjoy Justin Timberlake's music. This is
it's just Timberlake's great.
Yeah, it's just Nelly Furtado Loose. I have vivid memory of spending my allowance money at Circuit City on this album.
Yes, let's go.
Eventually, hear me out. Eventually, Loose being a staple of my iPod Nano.
Of course,
my shuffle, my all that,
shuffle.
Man.
Yeah.
I remember the artwork, Nelly Furtado with the red background. I'm just going to give you some of the hit songs off this project. Man Eater, Say It Right, and then a top 10 song for me, a top 5 music video for me, all time, Promiscuous, with the cameo from Justin Timberlake, also featuring Timbaland. I love this album, man. I shared this with you during the production meeting. I gave you more insight into my thoughts on this than White Guys, the state of White Guys, if you will. But for Loose and for this era, we're talking 2006, we're talking the years prior. It was a really great time in music. Before we started recording, Brad, you brought up names preceding Loose, such as No Doubt, Sugar Ray, which you don't have as much of an affinity for, but we were really leaning into the sort of now that's what I call music era of our lives. There were some really good songs, some really memorable artists, and for me, Nelly Furtado was at the top of that list. I loved me some Nelly Furtado back then. Still do. It's great seeing her pop up on, say, the NPR tiny desks of Hollywood and getting her flowers and people remembering just how talented she is. She even referenced Steve Nash in that Promiscuous song. So back in the day, man, 13-year-old me saw Nelly Furtado, saw that music video, heard the Steve Nash shout out her fellow country person of Canada, and it was just a great era in my life. This album is fantastic. Shout out Nelly Furtado. We celebrate you today and always.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, I forgot about Timbaland. I'm Like a Bird was what, 2000, 2001, somewhere around then.
Yeah, before Loose for sure.
Oh, way before. Yeah, it was just
that was your intro to the scene.
Yeah, that was the end of high school for me. That was like the anthem of senior year, summer and senior year, after senior year.
Yeah, okay.
Going to college around that time.
Because Vitamin C had the graduation song. Sort of monopolized that market, but then you get Fly Like a Bird that Nelly did a thing on it.
Yeah. And I know I always get him so there was so many things happening around that time where people were like crossing over, like the boy band stuff was still big, but it was like petering out and everybody was doing solo work and everybody was just leaving. Timberlake went and did stuff and did the thing with, I know Nelly did Timberland with Loose, and then Timberlake did stuff with Nelly more, I want to say more recently than that. I can't remember. But they did stuff together. There's cameos there. There's work. Nelly Furtado is one of those people I think we forget about, goes in the background of, oh yeah, like, I don't know. How familiar are you with the Killers? Do you ever listen to any of the Killers?
Vaguely. I remember being into one of their hit songs back in the day. Also made my iPod Nano.
All these things that I have done is probably what it is. I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
I want to say it was another track.
But
Hopefully I'm not mixing them up. I enjoyed their hits, but I didn't cross over into fandom.
I think that's the point is like, it's kind of the same for me until I was like, I know like 10 of their songs and they're all like hits. How do I not respect this band more than I currently do? And I kind of feel like it's the same way with her. It's you know a bunch of the songs and you're like, I know the song, and then don't realize it's her. Had I didn't register the way that other names do, like Taylor Swift or like Kelly Clarkson, or anybody that's like, oh, name recognition, I know the songs. For her, it's like, I know the songs, but maybe I don't know who that person is that's singing them. And the Killers is one of those bands. One Republic is a little bit like that. There's just some bands that have songs that come out and you're like, oh yeah, I know this song.
All American Rejects.
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar. Yeah. But I always felt like that about Foo Fighters, about being one of the most underrated bands of all time, where it's like they got 20 hits and you know all of them. And if I ask you a Foo Fighters question, people are going to be like, I don't really know that band, that are just kind of casuals that don't actually pay attention to those things. But my brain goes to Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, Nirvana, and then I go all the way back. So it's weird. Brain works a little differently, Tyler. Different than WWE is AEW though. So let's get into AEW talk.
Let's get into it. First, big shout out to Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Athena, and Thunder Rosa.
Yes.
When I tell you, bro, I love their 4-way match from Dynamite.
It was so good.
The People's Main Event.
Yes.
Chris Statlander, of course, won this match via interference from Marina Shafir and more so Wheeler Yuta. Is Chris Statlander cool with all of this? I suspect no, but it happened, and I am intrigued as the Death Riders are attempting to recruit more than a woman, Chris Stat. She now has earned the #1 spot in the women's casino gauntlet match for All In Texas, coming up on Saturday, July 12th. Brad, I want to ask you about the AEW tag division. This is kind of my quarterly check-in with you on this. Now, we know during the early days of AEW, a lot of their marketing was focused on, if you enjoy tag team wrestling, come here because we have the best division.
Yes.
And we
far and away
prioritize this type of wrestling, this type of action. Now, since then, a lot has changed since those early years. I'm even thinking, I don't know if we've addressed this on air, I'm even thinking of Private Party, a day one tag team who reportedly, according to Fightful Select, their contract is going to be up this year. And I don't know. I suspect their time.
Resigned. I think
I think they're done. I can definitely see them in NXT or TNA or really anywhere that they want to go.
Yep.
But sticking with current day, it's official. Jet Speed.
Yes.
Kevin Knight, Speedball Mike Bailey will challenge the Hurt Syndicate at All In Texas. I want to know your thoughts on the state of the tag division, because I think, in my opinion, the titles are on the right guys. Speaking of Private Party, you and I remember when the Hurt Syndicate took the titles off them, and everybody was cool with it. These are the guys. They're hot as ever. Let's do this. If we fast forward several months, they're with MJF. Everyone wants to root for them, but they're clearly being positioned as heels. And now we get the Jet Speed match. I don't foresee Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, as much as I love those guys, I don't foresee them being the two to take the titles off Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Definitely not as soon as All In Texas. But I want to know your thoughts on this being the tag title match for the biggest show of the year. And then just overall, what's the vibe check for you on the tag division? Because also featured on All In Texas we have another tag match. So AEW still leaning into being the home of tag team wrestling. We're going to get Young Bucks versus Swerve and Osprey. That's much more high profile than this tag match. But where are you at with tag team wrestling in AEW? And with the Hurt Syndicate being the champs, why am I not more excited about their current reign as I was when I was filled with hope when this reign started? Where are you at? What's the vibe check?
There's no viable contenders right now. They haven't built anybody. And in fairness,
True.
the people that are vying for these things aren't built for this. It's Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They're enormous human beings. The muscularity is off the charts. Like, who could convincingly stop either of them? That, like, you'd have to take Big Bill and then somebody else, not Brian Keith. And then you have a chance. Like, Big Bill's got to go get Brody King. And if you put those two towers together as a tag team, it's over for everybody.
That's the look, Brad. I think the answer is, to your thought process, Brody King and Buddy Matthews. But with Buddy Matthews' injury, I wonder if that maybe halted plans for where this was going.
Right. I hope that's what it is. But they had an amicable split, Brody King and Buddy Matthews, where it's like, hey, just go do your own thing. We're good. But I don't know if that means they're coming back together. Maybe Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher were going to be the ones to do it. Maybe before Mark Davis got injured again, unfortunately. But it'll go into my question here, so I won't spoil it here. But there are other tag teams that just aren't, like, Crew's not winning. Top Flight's not winning.
No.
Jet Speed, I can see it. So yes, Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
What's their singles outlook right now?
Not promising.
It's not existent. Speedball, maybe. Kevin Knight, there's not a title right now that I can be like, oh yeah, that's the one for him. TNT, sure, but not yet. I think it's just going to be a while before we see that. Definitely not international. That's going to be a long way off.
Kyle Fletcher is clearly the next TNT champ.
Yeah.
And his first singles title reign, an AEW title, that is, it has to be meaningful. I mean,
it'll be meaningful and long, I hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, he has to hold that TNT title for at least 7 to 10 months.
Or have him run into a wall when Wardlow comes back. Either one of those would be fine with me.
That would be very fun.
That would be a blast. So I'm outside of Swerve and Osprey, which I think this works for the story, but I don't really want them teaming up, like, long term.
You don't see that continuing after Texas?
I don't think so. Not with Will. I have some thoughts on that, but I can see Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey are the most viable threat to those dudes. Speedball and Shelton Benjamin are going to be fun in the ring together. Fun. And Kevin Knight and Bobby Lashley are going to be fun in the ring together. Like, all those dudes work. And I think it's going to be a blast. I have a feeling that that's going to be one we walk away from. I don't think we'll be talking about it because Osprey Swerve versus the Bucks is probably going to wipe it off the face of the earth. But it's going to be one of the best tag matches of the year. And we're going to forget about it immediately because it's going to be outshined by everything else. Which sucks because it's like anywhere else we'd be talking about it for months. I think I'm predicting that it's going to be incredible. Now, I could be totally wrong. Lashley and Benjamin aren't exactly young men, but they've proven that they can still really work. And I think it's good to have the juxtaposition and styles in there. Bobby Lashley isn't going to be doing backflips. Like, he's going to hoss dudes around, punch him in the face, get him in the hurt lock, like, going to do all those things. And Kevin Knight's going to take care of all those other things I just mentioned. And Speedball Mike Bailey's just one of one. So I think that they're the most viable threat. After that, there's only one other team I can think of right now. FTR is always there. FTR, the Bucks, they could be positioned at any point. All right. Like, they still have, like, really good tag teams and they could still put things together. You could have the Golden Lovers could get back together. You could have Hangman and Omega get back together. There's a lot of avenues you could go to put a tag team together to defeat the current champions. I just don't see any of the names I just mentioned forming a team to stop the Hurt Syndicate because there's no reason for them right now. They're not involved in any of their feuds or pictures. everybody wants to root for the Hurt Syndicate except MJF. And I think that's the part that's like really confusing right now is like, no, we're here for you. We are up for the Syndicate. We're not up for MJF. We're going to boo this man, even though we love him. He's our scumbag, but we're going to boo him. So it's a weird, absolute shades of gray concoction right now. Maybe narrowing on shades of evil, but it's pretty gray. To answer your question in a short version, because I am incapable of doing this. Oh, that's my answer. Oh, what do you got?
It's such a dilemma for me because, again, I believe the titles were on the right guys, unquestionably.
Mhm.
But this reign, like we've seen with a lot of teams, certainly Private Party, I would put in on this list. Okay, we got the moment. It's on the right guys as it should be. But we're several months in now, and what has been memorable, what's happened. I know they beat the Guns. I know that they defeated the Gates of Agony, who I'm very high on. But what are we doing next?
They're going through everybody, and at some point you're gonna have to go back to like somebody there to beat.
Right. And Jet Speed, a new team like you, I'm very optimistic for what this match is going to be. Maybe you're onto something because the beatdown that the Hurt Syndicate delivered to Speedball and Kevin Knight, that wasn't just hey, you're coming for us, you disrespected us, we don't like that, pow. That was like, oh my gosh, they just decimated these two grown men in short order. Maybe the move is, the get back is going to be Speedball and Kevin Knight. The Jet are leaving Texas with those titles. I don't foresee that happening. Yeah. And in part, in my mind, because the Hurt Syndicate made them look so inferior. But maybe that's part of the story is we get a surprise finish and we get new champs in Texas. Part of my favorite memories with AEW were those tag team matches, and it was the division and how it was built, even going back to SCU being the inaugural champs. We missed Scorpio Sky, by the way. But where do we go from here? A lot of it has to be, who are those viable challengers? I would like to see more Hurt Syndicate matches in which I don't know who is going to win the match. But to your point, we're talking about Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, who are going to be realistic equals to them. That's tough. Again, I think Gates of Agony have a place in this conversation, but clearly we've already been there and done that. If Jet Speed are the guys, I would love to see how they would operate as tag team champs. I just think the Hurt Syndicate are going to be champs for the rest of the summer, which, again, not the wrong decision, but let's get some rivalries built and let's just wrap up this MJF and Hurt Syndicate business. No pun intended. I love all the ingredients here. To me, it's just taken away from the tag division that I used to love.
Yeah, I wonder if there's somebody we know that MJF will never have another tag team after this. And that'll be the story.
The trust issues, yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
I think he's winning the Casino Gauntlet, by the way. To me, the move is going to be MJF versus Hangman. Let's say as soon as All Out in Canada.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He should be in the world title picture. He doesn't need to be a part of a faction unless he's leading the faction.
Yeah, that'll be really good. There's always a New Japan or CMLL option to have a tag team, like Forbidden Door. We haven't even talked about Forbidden Door.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Maybe the move is to put the belts on somebody from New Japan.
Huh.
I mean, like there's been AEW champs of New Japan belts, but not necessarily the other way around.
Not vice versa, yeah.
Right. So I could see that. I could see there's a couple of people I could see, but probably not the Good Brothers, but I could see them coming over to wrestle those guys. That would be a fun match.
And you brought it up perfectly. I don't know if I gave you your flowers in the moment. When Crew stepped to them and when Top Flight stepped to the Hurt Syndicate, it's like
bees.
I just don't believe
flies. Going around Godzilla.
This is what are we?
Yeah, it's like
love all the ingredients.
We need like a cruiserweight tag division for this to happen, and then you have giant walking muscles. Like when you have Andretti and Leo Rush stand on one of the other person's like they piggyback ride, right? That's maybe one Shelton Benjamin. And then you also have a Bobby Lashley sitting there. So
I enjoy all these guys. We were doing that for a few weeks of Crew and Top Flight. They have this rivalry, which I think by and large we were kind of sleeping on, that Collision rivalry. But we have them in the mix.
That was fun.
We have them in the mix with the Hurt Syndicate, but it's just
It's not Rey
it's just
Mysterio
different.
versus the Giant. Like it's not.
Yeah.
This is not the same thing. It is
Yeah.
not Giant killer status.
And
It's just killer giants is what it is.
and this is when
Like
well, but by that time, what I said is happening. We also firmly have MJF being a part of this, and I would argue that is MJF in? Are they going to accept him? Are they not? Thumb up, thumb down. I would argue that lasted entirely too long, but I really thought they were going to pivot and make the Hurt Syndicate at least shades of gray. But now we've just fully moved into these are bad guys. And maybe part of why I'm a little bit sour on it is I wanted them to move into leaning into. We love singing the song. We love that they beat up people. Let's just make them cool guys, kind of in the spirit of like an APA back in the day with Bradshaw and Farouk. I think we could have leaned into that and not lost any of the cool factor. Just really leaned into we like badasses, kind of as we rooted for a Wardlow back then. But it just seems like they went the other way, and I don't know that I was ready for that. We'll see.
Tyler, okay. Bobby Lashley is 6'3", a little over 270.
I believe it.
Leo Rush is 5'6", 160.
I believe that as well. They have history. Yeah, it's
Leo Rush with the Hurt Syndicate, I think would be great because he's awesome on the microphone. I love Leo Rush.
Yeah.
When he was doing like before he got let go or asked to leave to go to New Japan, like all that stuff he was doing with like the snarky side eyes and stuff when he was managing Top Flight, right? Not Top Flight, but just one of them. I think it was
Dante.
It was when Darius was hurt, right?
And wasn't back then his intro to the AEW audience. He was this nefarious Bitcoin mogul.
That was bad.
What an odd time. Bow Wow popped up there with Jay.
Like the all white suit thing that he was wearing, right?
It was a moment. We remember.
But he was doing really cool stuff and he was great backstage. He was great on the mic. He just wasn't happy. And I totally respect that. Totally get it. I just like to see more of that. I don't like what he's doing right now with Andretti, but that's just my personal preference.
You don't like the
jacket. You like the puffy coats.
You've been very clear on the coats. You've been very
I just like wearing a stuffed animal just isn't threatening to me. He looks like he's wearing like Koopa cosplay from Mario Bros. But like the live action movie with Dennis Hopper from the early 90s, not the good one. Okay. Tyler, Hook is out with a concussion. Hopefully he gets cleared soon. We know cleared and healthy are two different things. Keith Lee says he's healthy. He's good.
I saw that.
Again, healthy doesn't mean cleared. Wardlow and Camille are filming American Gladiator with The Miz, which is wild. So Tyler, assuming these folks are ready to go for All In, which one is most likely to make an immediate impact in a major storyline? Or which of the released women's talent makes a debut in AEW All In?
Wow.
I'll give you a choice there.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler would be awesome.
Shayna and Marina.
In AEW. We have to get that tag
Death
team,
Riders,
and we have to get those tag team championships.
Yep.
Would love to see Camille back, but I don't know if that's in the cards. I think the program with Mercedes has passed, unfortunately.
It died on the vine. It was weird. I wonder what that situation was.
Very weird. Men's side would love to see Scorpio Sky back. I think that dude is awesome, and he was those. Maybe I have a lot of nostalgia for the early years of AEW on this episode.
Well, SCU.
He just seemed to be like he was gonna be a pivotal component of AEW and be a real threat in the singles division. And he had a TNT title run, and they paired him with that. What was that? Dan Lambert? Was that the guy?
Him, Dan Lambert, and Ethan Page.
Yeah, the men
and what's her face that had a cup of coffee in AEW that I can't remember her name. Paige.
Paige Van Zandt. Yeah. Okay, that was an interesting time period. I'm going to answer your question by saying I'm fascinated to see when Hook comes back, what we do. Because you remember at Double or Nothing, we were in the building for that in Glendale.
Mm-hmm.
Hook came back during the Anarchy in the Arena, and Samoa Joe's like, "Hey, Hook, you're back. Come on in. Good to see you." And Hook said,
and then he kind of like, and then he left.
No, I'm not happy. And then left. And I don't believe we've seen him since then.
No.
So
he's still not cleared. So
I have questions. Yeah, as you pointed out. Wardlow
I hope it's not an Adam Cole situation.
I sure hope not. Hope not. Wardlow is going to be my answer here because there is still so much to do with him. It wasn't a case of he was in AEW, a lot of fanfare. You and I enjoyed his matches. Let's see what's next. He clearly had a world title reign in his future. And I just have to believe, barring health and all the factors you mentioned, that if he comes back, we can get back to that place. So Wardlow's going to be my answer, but I also think the tea leaves are all there for Keith Lee to pop back up, because before Swerve Strickland ascended, I thought we were full steam ahead with Keith Lee being the first Black world champ in AEW history. You know, I bought the shirt, Brad. I probably sent you his theme song.
Maybe the best theme.
Multiple times.
It's such a good theme.
So Shayna Baszler, need that at All In Texas for the week to follow. Dakota Kai obviously would be great. We're excited for Ruby Soho to return from maternity. Shout out to her. On the men's side, when Wardlow is ready to come back, yes. And then Keith Lee, man, you talk about someone whose time in AEW hopefully is not over yet. At least with Wardlow, we saw a couple title runs. We got some programs. With Keith Lee, we never even finished the Swerve Strickland feud. We never even got the one-on-one match with Swerve. Yeah. So personal fandom, storyline attached as well. I would love to see Keith Lee pop back up. He's gonna be my final answer. How about that? What's okay?
I'm gonna go Keith Lee too. Here's my fantasy booking. Ready? Okay. Main event happens. Hangman versus Mox. Hangman, he wins. I don't know. Let's just say he wins.
He better.
Okay. Hanger wins or loses. It doesn't matter. But Hangman winning makes more sense. And now Hangman's getting beat down. And Swerve and Will come out to help. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate come out to help the Death Riders. Right, like we got bad guys because MJF wants to get his hand on Hangman now that he's champ, because he's the guy that he's going to be fighting. So they're all beating him down, and Swerve's getting beat up pretty good by the tag champs, and then Keith Lee's music hits, and maybe that's the way in to work through some stuff, and then get Swerve and Our Glory back together to take the belts off of the Hurt Syndicate.
Wow, that's a full.
That's what I want. I want like gang wars at the end. Wow. And then Keith Lee's music hits. He comes back down and helps out Swerve, hopefully with black hair and not white.
And leave the coat behind.
Yes.
Just leave just give us the best and the. Yeah, isn't Keith Lee from Texas as well, or is he played college football there?
He's from Detroit.
Okay, but didn't he play football? He has some sort of Texas.
He has a Texas tie. I looked it up because I was like, I know he has a Texas tie.
Wow,
but it's like Keith Lee's from Detroit.
And you go, and if it makes sense for all parties.
Yeah, he probably lives in Austin or something. Everybody lives in Austin because Austin's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love for Keith Lee to come back for that. Wardlow doesn't have a lot of Texas ties there. He's an Ohio boy. I can also there's probably people I'm not thinking of that were released that are available. Like Riddick Moss might be out there floating around somewhere. Is Baron Corbin signed now? I know he just wrestled.
He was actually, he's the new one half of the new MLW tag team champ.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if he's just working with them or.
I think he has flexibility. I don't know if it's AEW flexibility, but he's a big component of what MLW is doing. Bishop Dyer, formerly Baron Corbin,
thank you,
and Donovan Dijak.
Yes, I saw Dijak
are now the Skyscrapers,
which is really
in
cool.
MLW.
And I know those guys have been friends forever, and that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, they just won the tag team titles in New York
so cool.
at MLW Summer of the Beast show. I don't know if he has the flexibility to work for AEW, but really happy that he's doing well.
I could also see Matt Cardona popping up in there. Maybe that's his way into getting his contract finally, because I don't know why he's not signed somewhere.
It's curious.
It's baffling to me that he's not in WWE, TNA, or AEW. Like truly baffling. Or that New Japan hasn't been like, here's a bunch of money. Like really, really strange that he's not signed full-time to a major wrestling promotion, because he's great in the ring. His character work has been awesome. It's a really interesting look. Too much spray tanner, of course, according to Kevin Owens. But like it just makes a lot of sense to have him pop up somewhere. Now, is he the one to show up? I don't know. There's so many guys. Keith Lee, probably not Hook. I just want him to be healthy long term. Wardlow, maybe, I don't know when Cope's coming back. He could show back up. I know there were
Oh,
plans.
sure.
There were plans to sort of get Christian and Edge back together. Edge and Christian, Cope and Christian. Cope and Cage is probably what they're going to go with at some point. But the Nick Wayne feud has to pay off, and I think we're getting closer.
Yeah, and all out being in September, being from Canada, you could main event that show with FTR versus Cope and Cage. No titles needed.
No titles needed. It would be incredible.
That's the move.
But before then, you're really going to have to do a lot of work to get there. And
definitely.
And I think like,
didn't you just concerto me a few months ago, and now
I think at All In,
and we're the good guys.
All In might be like, maybe Christian Cage softens his tone with Nick Wayne, just saying, I just want what's best for you and just want to make sure that you're super successful because I believe in you. And then Nick Wayne beats the crap out of Christian Cage.
Beat the brakes off him. Yeah.
Yeah. And the patriarchy turns on Christian Cage. And then maybe Cope shows back up to help him out. They have words, and then like angry words, Cope debates concertoing him and then leaves the ring. And then maybe they get back together over the weeks. Maybe through they have a singles match at Forbidden Door. It gets interfered with, and then they team back up. I can see that leading to All Out. I think that could be a path forward. But I think it's got to be that's a story worth telling over a long time, because the go bleep yourself moment is one of my favorite AEW moments. Christian Cage continues to be and will forever be the most underrated on the mic and in the ring wrestler of all time. Of all time. I can't think of a single person that I would put there above him. He is good at everything. And everybody that works with him says the same exact thing about him, that he is just simply the best mind. He's incredible to work with, like all of those things. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers ever, just because of how good he is at all of the things. He is both simultaneously funny and detestable. And he knows how to do both.
Shut your mouths while I conduct my business.
While wearing a turtleneck.
The turtleneck was great.
A great turtleneck is just.
I forgot about your affinity for Christian Cage. This is awesome.
He's great, man. Like he's just so good.
And he was operating in the shadow of Edge, Adam Copeland, for so long. It's great that over the last. I remember when he signed with TNA, when he was TNA's big signing after he left WWE, and he was immediately the guy he feuded with Jeff Jarrett. And now fast forward, that was 10 to 15 years ago, and he is still doing his thing. Like you said, he still checks all the boxes of what makes a great wrestler, and he's going to be featured prominently in AEW programming. We're definitely going to get that Cope reunion, and I just can only imagine that match against FTR in Canada, how good that's going to feel for him. Hopefully how well that's going to translate on TV, and like you said, Brad, hopefully we get those steps to get there and not rush anything. But I would suspect we have to get that All Out. I can't think of a better event for that to happen. Christian's amazing. You're right.
So for the women, I think Shayna, I'm with you. I would love to see Dakota Kai pop up. I would also love to see Indy's already gone, but Tegan Knox is not signed anywhere. And I would love to see Tegan show up, or whatever she's going by. I can't even remember, but like if Charlie Girl shows up, I think that could be pretty cool to see Dakota Kai, especially given their relationship with New Japan and all the Stardom talent. I think there's a lot there. I don't want anybody to lose any spots, because I think, again, my love for Penelope Ford, I think there's a spot for her there if she can figure out like something. I don't know why she's not connecting with everybody the way she connects with me. Like I just see it. It's like a no-brainer looking at her work. I don't know why she's not in constant title pictures, but I don't know. Maybe they'll figure it out. I kind of feel like the same thing happened with the bunny back there. And Allie getting released and all of those things.
That's the tough part about bringing in talent, is inevitably that means someone's spot is
or Tyler, it's an easy fix if you simply have a women's tag division.
Yes.
Or God forbid, a women's trios division. I would honestly prefer a trios before a tag, because it makes it easier to get more women on screen at a time. And now you have 3 people against 3 people, and you could do a triple threat for the trios titles. And now you have a 9-person match potentially with people on the outside of the ring. And you have like 12 people at a time out there showcasing their talents, getting paid, getting to work. And then you could split them up and do single stuff every once in a while. There's just a lot of stuff that you could do there. The more women on the screen, the better, because they have a loaded roster. But I think they could do. I think they could do more. I think somebody needs to have the balls to take a wrestling phrase, to have a show with no balls on it. I think having a TV show dedicated to women's talent rather than a PLE, sort of like an ROH, do the subscription service thing, but like have an Evolution show, very similar to what Stardom does. But stateside, like have that be the showcase. Maybe it's an hour. It doesn't have to be a super long thing, but like get more women on the screen. Like the women's wrestling is as good, if not better than the men. And I would like to see it more often, or just book them better and put them on the TV. Like that's the part.
And along with what you and I have shared on GI about how much we're,
and this was the whole business, to be clear, not just AEW.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely. As much as you and I have shared how much we're enjoying the seeds being planted for a potential women's tag division in AEW, which is great and leaves me with so much excitement. That Dynamite 4-way is proof that you just have such star power.
So
I literally watched that match, Brad, and thought any of these women could win this match.
Yeah.
I could see the case for Thunder Rosa. I could definitely see the case for Athena.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she's
those two getting involved
back on our screens, and
yeah.
I thought it was actually pretty smart how they booked for the men's 4-way match. You were setting up Bandito versus Takeshita for the ROH show, the ROH pay-per-view, and you did the same with Athena versus Thunder Rosa, totally. But I watched that match, unlike the men's match. For the women's match, I watched and said, I could be convinced any of these four could win. Certainly, you know, my affinity for Chris Statlander. I know your affinity, and you know mine for Willow Nightingale. Like, that was just such a perfect encapsulation of everything you said and everything I've been feeling of, yeah, your roster is so loaded and you have so many women who can be that top champion. They're ready to go. They connect with the crowd. The in-ring work is spectacular. That, yeah, your idea of an all-women's program, dare we say weekly, you certainly have the talent to make that happen. Let's go.
Yeah, and I don't care if it's just AEW. Like, have it be Forbidden Door, the TV show, but like it's just women. Like that's it.
I'm here
like,
for it.
I would love Stardom to get more shine over here, because there's so much talent over there that we never see because we're not up at 3 a.m. watching or 1 a.m. watching things. And I just, like, I don't know. I have a hard time watching stuff on delay. It's if we're going to take the illusion of sport and be like, no, these are athletes doing performances and not necessarily a sport. It's a philosophical thing, right? Like, is it a sport if it's predetermined? I don't know. Cause I have the same thing with, like, when we talk about cheerleading and things like that. Cheerleading is a sport when it's competition, and otherwise it's a performance when it's not, because it's a performance. You're not competing. You're literally cheering. Dance is a performance unless it's a competition. So there's like lots of things that sport has to have competition. Is there competition if it's predetermined? I kind of feel like, yeah. I kind of feel like, yeah, because in the match, it's like, you know, you're calling it and you are competing for, you know, either each other, or going like, I win if I make you look good, or I win if I make myself look good, going into business for yourself. But if you're working to make the other person look good, then it's probably going to look great. And if you're not, then it's probably not. And in that sense, I guess it's a sport, but it's an athletic performance. But I don't want to watch it on delay if I'm watching a sport. I'm not watching a Tigers game when it's over. Long ass baseball game, and I already know the score. I'm good.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. I feel you.
But I want to watch it for the promos and all the other stuff.
Of course.
That is the entertainment part of it versus the sport part of it, because I don't want to watch sports on delay. That's just how my brain works. So that's why I struggle sometimes watching things late, because I already know what happened. So I got to stay off the internet.
Right. And the business moves so quickly that you know, 48 hours later, you still haven't watched something. It's like, oh, things have changed, or just, it's a really exciting time. It continues to be a really exciting time to be a wrestling fan. And it's important to not overwhelm yourself, because there is so much to watch. And ultimately, obviously, we live in a very tribalistic time inside wrestling, outside of wrestling, but ultimately watch what you like, because wrestling is so accessible now. That's going to be part of my what did we miss in a moment. Wrestling is so accessible now. There are so many talented people doing amazing artistic things, and you get to pick what you like. And enjoy what you enjoy. Who cares what anyone else says? But to your point, things move so quickly that if you're not able to watch in the moment, yeah, sometimes I hear you about the replay part for sure.
Tyler, what did we miss? I didn't realize we were at $1:14 already.
That we are. So what did we miss?
Wow.
Two wrestling notes, and I want to
On
kick
a
it back to you.
2-segment show.
Indeed. Yes,
Wild.
indeed. Okay, so Ashe Return of the King happened this past weekend, and Cedric Alexander returned to his home state of North Carolina, and he turned heel after his match with the gifted one, Yaya. He seemingly was going to give Yaya the rub, even though he just beat Yaya. But instead, he said, I've been gone for nearly 10 years, and nothing has changed about this scene. You all haven't carried the North Carolina independent scene the way I thought you would. This, that, and the other, and then he left the ring. So that was interesting, and it leads me to believe that Cedric Alexander's time with Ashe is not over whatsoever. Darius Carter did retain against Darius Lockhart via interference. He has a new heel. I think it's Remarkable Brian Rembrandt. So he has a
maybe Darius. What's the plural of Darius? Because there were multiple. Is it Darii?
Darii. We're gonna have to look that up in post.
Pretty Roman.
Karen Bam Bam Renee beat Faye Jackson, and really fun show. New venue for Ashe. Apparently they have another event in July at this same venue. No details yet on if it's going to be available for purchasing on streaming or if it's going to be free on YouTube again, but I can confirm for you all in case you missed it. This show was streaming for free on YouTube, so check it out. Ashe Wrestling, ASE Wrestling. We also wrote some words about Ashe. I published a piece on the website. Thank you, B, for the stellar work you're doing over there. If you all visit gimmickinfringementpod.com and click on the writing section, you can get caught up on the history of Ashe and learn about this particular event. And we also included the link to the show in there. So in case you haven't seen it, check it out. Some really fun graphs on there. And my second and final note, Brad, TNA Talk. Fightful Select reported that international champion Steve Maclin's contract is up at the end of the year. He's really built his stock well in TNA. I was able to see him live at Against All Odds. The dude is awesome. I don't know if, obviously his wife, Deonna Purrazzo's in AEW. I think we want to see Deonna Purrazzo more. I know she's been wrestling in ROH. I don't know if the move is for Steve Maclin to go to AEW, but I just think the future is bright for him. Maybe it's because he's from Jersey, like Deonna, and I want to root for people from my mom's home state. But I think we've seen a lot of good work from him in TNA, and I think the future is very bright for him. He can play the babyface. He can play the heel. I think he's going to be making some big moves in 2026, wherever that may be. What do we miss, Brett?
Well, first of all, happy Independence Day. July 4th will be this week. We will not see everybody until America's birthday happens. As long as we get another one, I think things are good. The Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay will rule. Ibushi and Trent had a really good one. Like a really good one. Ibushi's back. I know he's not moving the same. He can't wrestle the same way that he did before all the injuries and his age and all that. But man, is he still really good. And Trent's always been great. Another guy that I don't understand how he hasn't connected the way that he should, because the dude is a star. Great look, great in the ring, great on the mic, has all the tools. I don't understand why he's not a bigger deal, because he's incredible. But Tyler, we didn't get to talk about the Kyles. Kyle Riley, Kyle Fletcher.
Yes, of course.
The Kyles
collision
had an incredible match. That match was so good. We knew it would be. We know these talent. Like incredible match. But the chants blew my mind. That was so funny. It sucks because it kind of takes away from the match, but like, what is it? Like you Kyled up. Was it something like that? You sick Kyle. That's what it was. You sick Kyle. You sick Kyle. That one popped me huge.
I'm just rooting for Kyle.
Let's go Kyle. Let's go Kyle. But then it was like, this is Kyle. Like that got me. All the chants were so funny. Absolutely incredible stuff. And the answer is Darius's.
Oh, perfect. I learned something new on this episode.
Kind of like Jones's.
Kind of like Jones's, very much so. Please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates. And boy, it's very important information. Everything is important here at GI. But in case you don't follow us on social, please do. It is well worth it. We thank you all so much for joining us. Please be sure to leave a comment if you're watching us on YouTube. If you are listening on audio, we love those 5-star reviews. More than anything, we hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did, and we will see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.